All right, friends, so this will be a free practice to try with me. Focus of this practice for myself right now is just to connect with what my body needs today in this moment. I'm starting in a comfortable seat. I am sitting on a meditation cushion. Do it however it feels good in your body. I've got my left leg in front of my right leg. That just seems to be the natural. Sit however it feels good to you, creating a comfortable seat. And in whatever position you're in, try and scooch a little bit forward so that your sits bones are a little bit more on the floor. Those are those bones in your butt. And so that you've got a bit of a tilt so that your tailbone is kind of tilting back or out, I guess, so that you're creating some length in your spine. So we're looking at trying to create a straight spine. Let's warm up the body and see how we feel. So nice straight spine. I love it when I go to a yoga class and I can visualize things. And one of my favorite prompts that I've had or heard is picture someone pulling a string outside of the top of your head to create length, that they're pulling that spine right up out of the crown of your head. That feels good to me because I can visualize that. So we'll start by doing a little bit of breathing with our movement and get into the breath and movement combination. Pranayama, the breathing, is an important part of asana. And so we want to make sure that we do not separate those two. So take a few moments, rest your hands on your knees, or one hand on the heart, one hand on the stomach, or whatever feels good in your body, to start focusing on the breath, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Eyes can close or stay open, whatever really feels good for you. I'm going to close my eyes and start thinking about the breath. And we're feeling that breath as it moves into the body and feeling the heat of the breath as it leaves the body. My hand on my stomach and chest, I'm thinking about how my stomach and my chest expand with the in-breath and how they deflate with the out-breath. And at this point, it will be good to start connecting with our Ujjayi breath. Constrict the muscles in the back of your throat a little bit so you can hear as you're inhaling and exhaling. That causes the breath to be regulated throughout the movement. So inhale and just restricting that back of your throat a little bit. And on the exhale, you should be able to hear the breath as it comes out. And that's really controlling the breath. With our next in-breath, I'm just going to rest my hands on my knees. Let's bring the shoulders up to the ears. With the exhale, roll them back and down. 3 more times like that. Inhale up. Exhale out, back and down. 2 more, up. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. On the next inhale, let's bring the arms reaching above the head. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, reaching up. Let's look up, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, hands down through heart center. 1 more of those. Breathing in, reaching up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. Let's find some movement in the neck. I carry a lot of my tension in my neck, my upper back and shoulder blades. So let's start by moving side to side. Hands can come down to the knees. Don't forget the breathing, just gently. And from one side, we can start letting the head drop and roll down. Chin is touching chest or close to, or not close to. And then up to the other side. Inhale, and then on an exhale, go ahead and let the head drop forward and roll again very gently, keeping close connection with the muscles in your neck so you're not straining. Inhale, exhale back to the other side. Inhale on the way up. One more to the other side so we can balance it out. Exhale down, roll back to the other side. When it feels good, you can bring the head back to center. We'll do some side body stretches. So on the next inhale, we're going to take our right arm. We're going to breathe in and reach up. On the exhale, drop that left arm down and then lean over the left side body, opening up the right. Sometimes I get a cramp, so I'm going to tent a little bit and not push too hard on that left. Let's breathe into that for a few more breaths. Keeping in mind that we don't want our shoulders to be up over our ears. And then let's go ahead and exhale, bring that right arm down, touching, and then on the next inhale, bringing the left arm up and reaching over. If you're sitting on a cushion, you might want to tent your fingers or put your hands on blocks. Inhale here. Exhale. I like to close my eyes when I'm holding a stretch. Really reach with your left fingertips. Reach over to the side of the room. Keep your head in a neutral position. Breathing in. And exhale, left arm can come back down to center. I'm going to move to a tabletop position and start getting onto my hands and my knees and do some cat-cows and a little bit of movement to warm up the spine. I have no idea where this practice is going today. I'm just listening to my body. My body says my spine is tight. Scooch that cushion out. When I am getting onto all fours into my tabletop position, I kind of want to point my fingers toward my index fingers are pointing forward and splaying my fingers out. And then you kind of want to have a bit of a tilt where the inside of your elbows are also facing the same direction as your index fingers. That just feels good for me. They always say, we say stack your hips and your knees. Find what feels good for you. Legs should be about hip distance apart. Let's start by activating the abdominal muscles. Take a breath just in tabletop here. You can be looking straight down to your mat. And let's take 3 breaths in tabletop. This is can be an active pose. If we're really activating the abdominals, you can activate the glutes if you like. You can activate those arms. You can push away from the floor. One more. On the next inhale, we're going to drop the belly and we're going to lift the hips and look up into our cow. And then exhale, we're going to tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, and curl into the cat. I like to do a little side to side here. Inhale. Exhale, curl. We're going to do 4 more of these in your own breath at your own time. One more. And return to our neutral. Sometimes it's a good time to go into our child's pose from here. So I like to bring my big toes together, really move my knees to the outer edges of the mat and sink my butt down onto my heels. I've got thick thighs and a big butt. My heels and bum will never touch. But we're going to go as far as feels good. Then I'm just going to reach forward. And in child's pose here, we can be really actively reaching our fingertips and then pushing back on the hips. So fingertips come forward, I'm reaching, and head can come down to the floor or to a block. And we'll take 3 big breaths in child's pose. With every inhale, reach forward with the fingertips. With every exhale, try and sink back onto your heels. On your next inhale, arms can come underneath you, or you can come back up into tabletop. Take an inhale here. On the exhale, we're going to tuck our toes and then we're going to push our bum into the air into a downward dog. If downward dog doesn't feel good for you, you can do puppy dog, which is on the knees. So you can do like this, reaching forward, really creating some space in the chest. That'll be your puppy. I like a downward dog. So here we can take a slight bend in the knees and push the tailbone into the air to have a nice flat back. Shake your head, yes and no. Pedal your legs to start warming up those hamstrings. Really starting to find some movement there. You can sway your hips side to side if that feels good. Push into your fingertips here. And then let's find some stillness. Take 2 breaths. Don't forget that Ujjayi breath. Exhale. On the next inhale, we're going to come to the tiptoes, lean forward and look forward. And exhale, step or hop. Let's bring ourselves to a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Here, let's do a ragdoll. We're going to bring a little bit of bend in the knees and belly can touch the thighs. Mine certainly does. We're going to grab opposite elbows and just let the head go and sway side to side. Go ahead and release those elbows. Hands can come down to the floor or blocks. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we're going to roll the spine up 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale, arms come up, reaching up, looking up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. I'm feeling like some sun salutations. You probably can't see me super well, so let me just adjust this a little bit. I'm feeling some sun salutations, so we're gonna stay at the top of the mat. Let's just hope that this works. I think this will be okay. You get the gist. I'm using my phone, so we'll go from there. So from here, hands are at heart center, and we're going to make sure that the legs are hip distance apart. Plant your feet into the ground, and you can go ahead and release those arms down to the side. Palms facing forward. Will be in mountain pose for a moment. Tandasana. Take 2 big breaths here, in through the nose and out through the nose. 1 more. And exhale. On your next inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, we're going to swan dive forward into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to plant the hands and step back into a plank. Plank sometimes feels good, sometimes doesn't. If plank doesn't feel good here, go into a supported plank, down onto the knees. Inhale and plank. Exhale, we're going to slowly lower ourselves down to the floor, belly down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, back down, curl the toes, come up either through tabletop or straight up into downward dog. That's our sun salutation, eh? We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, lean forward, look forward, hop to the step of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching up, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, hands down through heart center and release to mountain pose. Inhale, reach arms up, look up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back, hands over shins. Exhale, forward fold, plant the hands back into plank. Inhale in your plank. Exhale, all the way down to the ground. Inhale, maybe a baby cobra. Exhale, coming down, planting those toes. Inhale back up to downward dog. Take a breath here. 2 more cycles of sun salutation. Inhale, lean forward, look forward, hands stay planted, step or hop to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms sweeping up, reach up. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Release the hands to mountain pose. Let's take one big breath here in mountain pose. Inhale, arms up, reach up. You know the drill. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Plank. Inhale, plank. Exhale, come on down to the floor. Inhale, cobra. Maybe you like upward facing dog, whatever you like. Exhale, through tabletop, downward dog. We've got one more. Inhale, reach forward, look forward. Exhale, downward, not downward dog, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reaching up, sweeping up. Exhale, hands down, heart center. Release to mountain pose. I love a breath in mountain pose in between the vinyasas. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, plant the hands. Come back into your plank. Let's take a nice inhale and plank. Exhale. I'm gonna plant my knees, come on down to the chest. And inhale, we'll do a nice cobra. And exhale through the knees, up into downward dog. Very nice. Let's take a couple breaths here. Okay, on the next inhale, I'm gonna reach up with my right foot to three-legged dog. Exhale, let's do fire hydrant. You're gonna open up on the right side. Really just let that knee come forward. We're opening up the front of the hip there and the IT band. Back to three-legged dog. Exhale, let's bring our leg to the front. I can't ever do this, so I'm gonna come to the knees. Front, right leg, right foot is coming between the hands. And I'm actually down on my left knee. You get a bit of a lunge. All right, so down here. We're gonna stay on the knee. I'm just gonna shift mine back a little bit. And let's lean forward into a nice low lunge. I don't know how well you can see this, but low lunge here. And then inhale, we're going to step back into a half split, all right? Half split, I've got my back hopefully nice and straight. My back foot is, my toes are tucked under. Inhale, and then exhale, let's come forward into that low lunge. Inhale here. Exhale, let's go back into a half split. Inhale, low lunge. We'll do one more. Inhale here. Exhale back into that half split. Inhale, we're going to come back to neutral. Go ahead and take that right foot, bring it back into tabletop position. Let's do 3 cat-cows here while we're here. So inhale, we're dropping the belly. Exhale, curling the spine. That's 2. And last one. Come back to tabletop. Take a moment here in tabletop. Next inhale, tuck your toes. Exhale, send your hips up into your downward dog. Next exhale, we're going to lift up the left leg, three-legged dog. Inhale, exhale, open it up to a fire hydrant. Inhale back to our three-legged dog. Exhale down to tabletop or whatever it does. And then we're going to bring that left foot in between the hands into a low lunge. Scooch that right foot back, the right leg back a little bit, and let's sink into the hips, letting that right hip open up. Inhale here in that nice low lunge. And exhale, walk the hands back into a half split, opening up the left hamstring. Inhale, come on back, low lunge. Exhale, walking it back into that half split. Inhale, I think we have 2 more. I don't remember. Exhale back. Inhale forward, half split, low lunge. Exhale back into our half split. And inhale forward. Exhale, you can bring the leg back to tabletop. Let's do another couple of cat-cows. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, curl the spine. Inhale. Last one. And back to tabletop. From here, take a nice big in-breath, tuck your toes. On your exhale, send those hips up into a downward dog. Paddle your dog here for a minute. The hamstrings should start being warmed up here. No matter what anyone says, you never have to have your feet flat on the floor. You do what feels right. Inhale, leaning forward, looking forward, stepping or hopping to the top of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, let's roll all the way up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. I'm feeling pretty basic today, so I'm going to move us into some warriors. Hopefully you can see okay. If not, we'll do better next time, but you will get the gist. So what we're going to do is we're going to have let's have our right leg forward, and let's take that left leg and step it back, and we're going to do warrior 1. So the right leg bending into that right knee, the back leg, a lot of people like to put their foot at a 45-degree angle. Do what feels good. What you want is your hips facing forward. All right. So activate the stomach. It's a tough one sometimes. And in order to make this comfortable, you can shift your stance so that your feet are a little bit further apart, like hip distance apart, or they can be closer. Do what feels right for your hips. I like it at about hip distance apart, maybe just a little bit more. And my foot is at about, I want to say 30 to 45-degree angle. So we're facing forward, we're bending into that right knee. A really great way to make sure that you're not feeling all the burn in your knee is to activate the inner thighs, squeezing them together. So as we breathe out, we're really thinking about the core, and breathing in, we're going to reach up in our warrior 1. You can kind of look a little bit upwards, squeeze those right glutes, activate that back left leg, breathing in and out. Another breath in and exhale. See if you can sink a little deeper into that bend. Next in breath, you can go ahead and straighten, bring the arms down. I'm going to take that back foot that's at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to go train tracks. So I want my feet to look parallel to each other. I'm going to take the bend out of that front leg. So this is pyramid pose. Hands can be on the hips if you like here. We'll take a nice big breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips about as far as we want to go. You're going to feel that in your right hamstring. Try not to lean too far to the side. Keep your gaze slightly down, like kind of at your big toe or just ahead of it. Micro bend is okay if it doesn't feel good. And see how far down you want to go. If it feels good, you can let the arms go and sink down into a pyramid sort of fold, letting the belly rest on the thigh. My hamstring's a little tight, so I think I'm not going to do that yet. And with an inhale, we bring it back up. And then we're going to go ahead and step that up to the top. A simple warrior two pyramid. So we're going to do that on the other side as well. Inhale, and then on the exhale, step that right leg back. Don't forget to connect to the breath. We're going to do warrior one. So inhale, exhale, sink into that left knee. Inhale, arms come up. We're going to hold this for 3 breaths. Hands can come down. Inhale, we're going to straighten that front leg. We're going to straighten that back foot so that we're now sort of on train tracks. Inhale, activate your abdominals. Exhale, hinge forward as far as that left hamstring wants to take you. Mine's not very far today. Sometimes it's better than others. Inhale. Exhale, maybe hinge a little bit more forward. If you want to, see if you can melt over that front leg. I'm not there right now. Another inhale, bring it back up to center, step to the top of the mat. Shake out your legs a little bit here. Let's move into some warrior two. So we're still at the top of the mat. Right leg is going to stay forward, left leg inhale and exhale, step it back. We're going to go at about a 90-degree angle so that this left hip is facing the camera, each other. Right hip is opening toward the front of the room. So I'm kind of at a 90-degree angle with where my hips are. Bending into the front leg. Big inhale, extending the arms front and back, looking over the right hand. Stare straight out over those middle fingers. Well, the one middle finger. Inhale. Exhale, see if you can sink a little deeper. Widen your stance if you need to, if that feels good. Exhale. Inhale. On the next one, we're going to do a reverse warrior here. So inhale, we're going to flip the palm, reach up over the head, and exhale, coming, sliding the hand down the back leg, or you can brace it here. All right, 2 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, leading with that right arm, coming back to a warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, reach forward with your right arm. Inhale here. And exhale, we're going to come and bring that right arm down in front. Left arm comes up. This is going to be our triangle pose. Hand can come to a block. You can reach as far down as you like. I'm feeling the floor today. And then you can either look up or straight ahead, or you can look down. Whatever feels good and keeps your balance. Let's take 2 more breaths here. On the exhale, we're going to lead with that left arm, coming back up, straight, and we're going to lean back into that warrior two. 1 big breath here. And on the exhale, go ahead and release the arms and step to the top of the mat. I'm not feeling a sun salutation vinyasa. You can totally do it. Shake that leg out. Inhale here. Exhale, right leg steps back, left leg bends into our warrior two on the right, on the left. One more breath here. On your next inhale, flip that left palm. Exhale, bring it over and reach down with your right. Inhale. With your exhale, you're leading with your left hand forward, back into warrior two. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Exhale, leaning forward over the left, and left hand comes down, right arm comes up into our triangle pose. You're now seeing my triangle from behind. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, leading with the right arm, hinging up. Exhale into that warrior two. Inhale and exhale, coming back to the front of the mat. Let's shake it out a little bit here. Warriors feel really good. And as you can see, chubby bodies can do all sorts of great things. So I hope you take heart in that. We're gonna move to the middle of the mat or so and do some balancing poses, all right? So I like to adjust myself here, make sure I'm feeling pretty good. My balance has been super off since my weight gain and my loss of mobility. So I've got this wall behind me to hold me up in case anything happens. If you ever fall out of a balance pose, hop right back into it. It's totally okay. I think I'll start with tree pose. That feels pretty good for me right now in my body. So I'm gonna start by, let's just start in some mountain pose. So plant those feet hip distance apart. Really start sinking into and feeling all of the bottoms of your feet touching the ground. So your toes, the balls of your feet, the heels, we should feel all of the parts of the feet on the floor. Maybe you want to spread your toes a little bit. Feel how that feels in your toes. Maybe lift your toes up. See how that feels? Let's release them. Maybe stand on the tiptoes, lifting the heels up and releasing those. Don't forget your breathing while we're doing this. From here, what we're going to do is we are going to start putting the weight into our left leg. I'm so much better on my left than my right. And we're going to start lightening from our right leg. The right leg is going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. I like to bend it a little bit. As we breathe in, we're going to lift the leg up into 90 degree. And as an exhale, you take your right arm on your right knee and push it to the side, so you're opening up that right hip. And then you can put your foot anywhere on the inner left leg. Can be below or above the knee, not on the knee. Kickstand it on the floor, or you can bring your leg to a block, whatever works best for you. So let's take a breath here. Hands can be on the hips for some balance if you like. Choose something to look at that isn't moving. I'm looking at myself in the camera, that's not working, so we're gonna change our gaze. And we're gonna breathe here for a few seconds. If it feels good to you and you've got your balance, go ahead and reach up and grow your branches. Ooh, we're swaying. Exhale, go ahead and bring your branches down. Usually, I'm slipping out of this hour. I'm gonna bring my leg forward and kick it out. That's a good way to come out of tree pose. As you can see, balance is not always there. That's okay. You come back into it no matter what. Let's do the same on the left side. Really start feeling the weight in your feet. Get back your breath. And then start putting your weight into your right foot. Left foot is becoming lighter. When you're ready, take a big inhale, lifting that left leg 90 degrees. Exhale. Let's open that up. And go ahead and place that anywhere on the leg that feels good, but not the knee. Hands can come to heart center here. And if you're feeling it, let's grow the tree. When you're ready, hands can come back down. Let's bring that left leg forward and kick it on out. Shake it. Balance, it depends on the day. Could be good, could be bad. It really doesn't matter. So I think what we're going to do now is let's do another balancing pose. Eagle pose is probably one of my favorite poses. Who knows if I can do it today or not? I haven't done it in a while, so let's see how I feel. Again, I'm gonna center myself by planting my feet hip distance apart. I rock back and forth a little bit to make sure that I can feel my feet, all the parts of my feet on the ground. Let's do a little breath in mountain pose here. Palms forward, fingertips reaching down, shoulders away from the ears. Take 2 breaths here. On the next inhale, we can go ahead, maybe bring the hands to the hips or to the front, whatever feels good for balance. We're going to start again, putting our weight into the left leg, and the right leg becomes light. I'm going to take a slight bend in the left knee, and on an inhale, I'm going to bring the right knee and cross it over the left. All right, this is as much as my thick thighs are going to do. Try really hard not to push on the knee, okay, with the right leg that's come over. We can sit down a little bit into a little cross-legged chair pose. In breath, bring the arms up. Out breath, bring the right arm under the left arm. Wrap them around and either touch palms, touch the back of your hands, whatever feels good here. This is your eagle pose. You can point those toes down, sit into those hips, and lift up the elbows so that they're as straight as you can make them. One more breath. Exhale. Everything unwinds. That one actually was better than the other, so clearly we're getting somewhere. Do the same thing. Let's take 2 breaths in mountain pose, and then we're going to bring all the weight into our right legs. Square your feet. Palms forward, reaching down, shoulders away from the ears. 2 big breaths in this nice, strong mountain pose. Inhale, I'm going to start bringing the weight into my right leg. Exhale, I'm going to bring my left leg over my right, bending my right knee, sitting back. Woof, this one's harder. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale, arms come down. Left arm under the right arm this time, touching palms or the backs of your hands. Woof, this one's tough for me. If you need to kickstand your hand, or your foot, your toes down, that's totally okay. Sit into those heels. And inhale. That one was harder. I always have a harder time on my right than on my left. Okay, I think that's good for balancing poses. This isn't a really continuous flow. This is just me thinking out loud. I didn't plan anything, doing what my body feels. We're gonna move down to the mat now. I'm gonna pivot the camera. So however you want to, go ahead and come down to the mat. We're gonna come onto our backs. Okay. So you can take a moment on the ground, ease yourself down. We're gonna come down to the back, all right? We're gonna do some little bridge, maybe some happy babies, and yeah, figure 4s. Those are always really good ones, especially when I'm not feeling super stretched out and mobile. It's a movement that in many states that my body is in, I can do, well, several movements. So gently coming down here. Let's walk the feet so that the heels are kind of close to the bum. However much, my thick thighs, do not let that happen super closely, like I can't hook my feet. Squaring off the neck and the shoulders so that the back of the head, the neck, and the shoulders are all touching the ground. Palms are facing down and you're pressing into your mat. We're going to take a big inhale here. And on the exhale, we're going to push our hips up into a nice little bridge. Let's hold this for 2 breaths. Last inhale. Exhale, roll down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, starting from the shoulders, rolling all the way down. Exhale, 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 exhale. To counter that, let's go ahead and bring the knees into a nice little ball. You can try and get your nose to your knees. That doesn't happen with the belly in the way. We're gonna rock side to side, kind of massage out that low back. Inhale. Exhale, let's go ahead and let those feet drop again. Scooch those heels as far back as they're gonna go, close to the bum. Hands come down, square off the shoulders and the neck. Palms facing down into the mat. Big inhale. And on the exhale, we're gonna press up. into that little bridge again. Let's hold it a little longer. Let's take 3 breaths here. And on your exhale, bring it on down nice and slowly. Let's bring those knees into the chest and rock side to side. Let's go ahead and bring those feet back down. I'm kind of feeling a dead bug right now. So on the inhale, let's bring the legs up, facing, so heels toward the bottom of your mat. Point those toes toward the other side of the room, and then actually just let everything go. Micro bend in the legs is totally okay. And we're gonna reach our arms up on an inhale and just let everything droop. Soft ankles, soft wrists, soft elbows, soft knees. You can feel your shoulders and your hips with the legs and the bones in your arms and your legs popping into those sockets. Feel the weight. Let's take 3 big breaths in this one. One more. And let's go ahead and release down to the mat. Windshield wiper your legs side to side. Oh, that feels good. Keep in touch with your breath here. And let's come to some stillness. From here, inhale, let's bring the right leg up. And exhale, cross the right leg over the left, pushing open into a figure 4. So I've got my ankle just below my knee. I've got my right foot flexed, and I'm pushing away from myself with my knee. I should feel that. I feel that in my right hip and in the IT band of my right leg. If this is good, stay here. If you want a little more pressure with your right arm, you can push a little bit on that right leg, and that might be enough. If you want to try it with me, who knows if I got it today or not, on the next inhale, we're going to lift and we're going to reach our arms through and then grab the back of the left leg into sort of threading the needle. Inhale, coming on up, and I'm going to grab the back of my left thigh. Here, let's try and let the shoulders and head down onto the floor and pull as much as you can. This is kind of tough when you've got a bit of a belly in the way, so don't stress if you're not getting there. If you can come to here, awesome sauce, that's great for you. A lot of folks, this back of the left thigh is good. Some people maybe can grab the front of the shin. I can't do it without lifting my shoulders, so I'm going to go to the back of the thigh. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. Feel around to see what it feels like. You can flex both your feet for a bit of a different type of stretch, or you can relax them. I like to flex them. Whatever feels good for you. The right foot flexed, you'll feel it more in the right glute. 1 more breath. And then on your exhale, go ahead and let that left foot come down and release the right. Inhale, left leg comes up. Exhale, figure 4 over the right leg. Again, we got some options. You can stay right here if this feels really good. Option to push a little bit with your left arm on that left knee, opening up that left hip flexor a little bit more. And if you want to, on your inhale, go ahead and lift the right leg, reaching through, threading that needle there, creating your bound figure 4. Play around with flexing and unflexing those toes. See what that feels like. And exhale, go ahead and bring that down. We're going to counter with one more bridge, and then we'll move into your happy baby. So let's scooch those heels close to the bum, palms down, square off those shoulders and the neck. Inhale. Exhale, pushing up. We're going to hold this for 4 breaths. Let's see. Two more. One more. And on the exhale, go ahead and unfold, roll down the spine, and drop the hips. On an inhale, legs are coming up, and we're going to grab, maybe the peace fingers can grab the big toes. A lot of people will grab the outsides of the feet as well. Whatever feels good. I like the toes. Here, what we're going to do is neck and back are nice and square, and we're pulling our legs so that the knees are kind of pointing outward toward our armpits. I like to stick dig my elbows into the inside of my legs to get myself open there a little bit. From here, we can rock back and forth, side to side. We can extend one leg and the other. Maybe we extend both legs. Play around with what this feels like for you. I like to rock because it really massages out my low back, which I carry a lot of pain in sometimes. And exhale, let's come to some stillness. Go ahead and release, coming down to the mat. Just realizing that we haven't done any twists. So what we'll do is on the inhale, lift the hips and let's shift them over to the right and drop them. Inhale, knees can come up, and exhale, rolling to the left side. Just stacking the knees. Right arm can come out into a T. Left arm too, if you want to make a T with your arms, and then look over the right. So you're twisting that spine a little bit. My spine is not feeling this twist super, it's a little tight. So do what feels right to you. If you want to put a block under the front legs to ease that twist a little bit, because since we weren't really doing it, that's a good idea. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Next inhale, go ahead and roll back onto the back. Exhale here. Inhale, hips come up. Exhale, shift them over to the left. Inhale, knees come up. Exhale, let them flop over to the right. Left arm comes out. You can tee the arms if you like, or maybe your right hand on your left leg feels good, and look over the left shoulder. Try not to let your shoulders come off the ground. And again, if a block underneath the knees and the twist feels good, please go ahead and do that. Sometimes that's all the difference. This way is feeling better than the other way for me. One more inhale. Exhale, go ahead and bring our knees back, drop the feet, and let's shift the bum to the center. I'm feeling pretty good here, and now is a good time to move into our Shavasana. So in Shavasana, like Shavasana can look a lot of different ways. Traditional Shavasana is palms up, everything flopping open, closing eyes, making sure that things are flat, feeling good, right? Because I have thicker thighs, I like to put blocks underneath the backs of my thighs so that my back is nice and flat on the floor and my low back isn't curving. That feels really good for me. So go ahead and find your Shavasana. I'm going to do it with my blocks. I really like to put them right underneath my butt bones. All right. Now I've been talking a lot. I'll just guide you through a little bit of this. Right now is a really good time to take a scan of your body. Bringing it back to the breath. Sometimes I lose the breath, especially when I'm giving cues and teaching. So bring it back to that nice gentle inhale and exhale through the nose. Feeling the belly rise and fall with the breath. With every inhale, imagine that oxygen going in through the lungs and then finding itself into the limbs, the toes, the fingers, the top of your head, the crown. Imagine that oxygen moving into your body and just giving you life. As you exhale, just allow your body to become heavier and heavier and sink into the floor. Let go of the joints. Let those knees flop open. Let go of your shoulders. Let go of your jaw. Let the tongue come away from the roof of your mouth. Uncrinkle your forehead, soften your eyes. And as we breathe together for a while, trace the path that your breath takes in and out of your body. Take a scan of each part and see how it's doing. Check-ins. No judgment. Just see how you're feeling. Let's lay in Shavasana together for a few minutes. I'll invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. I'm feeling ready to start wiggling my toes and my fingers, maybe rolling my ankles and my wrists. Taking a big stretch overhead. Shifting back and forth. If you're you're ready, you can roll to the left side. Just maybe come into a bit of a fetal position for a moment. Let yourself settle back into movement. And on an exhale, I always like to push on an exhale. On an exhale, go ahead and put your right hand, push yourself up to seated. Scooch some things out of the way, but there we go. Hey, we went for almost an hour. If you want to stay in Shavasana, go ahead and ignore me. That's totally okay. But let's close out the practice together whenever you're ready. Pause this until you're ready. That's great. Thank you for coming with me on the beginning of my teaching journey. I guess the second beginning of my teaching journey. That was a typical sort of practice for me, starting off with preparing the body with sun salutations, doing some warriors, building up some heat, doing some balancing, and then coming down onto the floor and doing some posing on the floor. I would really like to, in my own practice, explore other poses and positions that I find really difficult for my body to do right now. There are quite a few things like, I've got thick thighs, I've got a belly, I've got breasts. Things like that can hinder some of the traditional movements. And so I'm looking forward to exploring what my current body can do right now. I have to remember, and I hope you remember this as well, I can't have the same expectations on my body right now as I did when I was more mobile, thinner, or younger, or any other things like that. My body has served me in all of the phases of my life, and I'm so grateful for where I am right now. I was able to do all of those things. I felt strong, and most of it felt pretty comfortable. So I'm feeling pretty good about, getting back into my asana practice. Hopefully, I'll have lots of you folks out there joining me. And I hope that by doing this with me and watching me and how I move in this body will encourage folks to know that people of any size, shape, form, orientation, ability can access yoga in some way. Asana can be accessible to so many different people with so many different bodies. And so that's super, super important. And hopefully we all get there. So let's close out our practice by taking some breaths together. Call them collective breaths. We breathe in, we can bring our arms up, and breathing out, hands down through heart center. And we'll do 3 big breaths together. In through the nose, arms up. And exhale, hands down through heart center. You know what? I'm feeling exhaling out of the mouth. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale with a sigh out the mouth. One more, breathing in. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful week, wonderful evening, wonderful morning, wonderful day, wherever you're at. And